All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to talk about a really ambitious vision for where humanity could go next. It's a blueprint called the Phoenix Platform, and it's a huge idea designed to help us get a handle on some of our biggest challenges.
The material we're digging into today kicks off with this really powerful line. And it captures a feeling a lot of us have, right? That sense that the way we've been doing things just isn't cutting it anymore. And we're on the edge of some kind of massive change. The stakes feel higher than ever.
And that leads to the big question, doesn't it? If we really are at this critical turning point, well, which way do we go? This entire explainer is going to unpack one potential answer to that exact question.
So before we can even talk about a solution, we've got to really understand the problem we're facing. What is it exactly that makes this moment so pivotal?
When you look at a list like this, it can feel pretty overwhelming. But here's the key insight. These aren't just separate issues. Climate disruption, social divisions, the crazy pace of technology, the fact that nobody seems to trust anyone, they're all tangled up together. They feed off each other, creating this complex web that you just can't solve piece by piece. And this is where we get to a core argument of the Phoenix vision. The idea is that we're not actually fighting a dozen different fires. All of these crises are just symptoms of one single, deep imbalance in how our whole civilization is set up. And here's what that imbalance looks like. On one side, you've got our capabilities, our tech power, our economic muscle, which have just exploded. But on the other side, our wisdom, well, it hasn't kept up. Our ability to cooperate, to act like responsible guardians of the planet, has seriously lagged behind. In that gap, that's where all our problems are coming from.
Okay, so if the problem is a broken system, then it makes sense that the solution has to be a whole new kind of system. And that's exactly what the Phoenix Platform is pitched as. They call it a socio-technical ecosystem. It's a bit of a mouthful, so let's break down what that really means.
At its heart, it's about reconnecting all the things in our modern world that feel so separate. You know how work can sometimes feel totally detached from any real purpose? Or how our communities can feel disconnected from our daily lives? This system is designed to weave all of that back together, technology, society, and nature, into a coherent whole. And get this, the foundation of this entire thing isn't code or servers, it's relationships. The whole platform is built on what's called relational infrastructure. It's about creating systems that are designed from the ground up to build trust, to encourage real dialogue, and to make cooperation possible. It's a huge shift from a world built on transactions to a world built on connection.
So how in the world do you build a system based on relationships? Well, the answer is pretty fascinating. The core ideas for the design don't come from engineering or economics. They come from the natural world itself.
It all boils down to these two big ideas. First, planetary alignment, which is basically about playing by Earth's rules, respecting its limits and actively working to heal the damage we've done. And second, nature alignment. This is about learning from nature's genius, designing our own systems to be balanced, diverse, and adaptable, just like a healthy forest or a coral reef.
Yeah, this slide right here, it just nails the huge shift they're talking about. We're moving from top-down, rigid hierarchies to flexible, dynamic networks, from a world where everyone's competing against each other to one where we collaborate. And maybe most importantly, from an economy that just takes and takes to one that regenerates and gives back.
All right, let's talk about the tech. The engine at the heart of this whole vision is something called the synergy engine. And you can think of it as a kind of nervous system for this new ecosystem, one that's designed to help us achieve a new level of collective intelligence.
Now, this is a really important point. With all the anxiety about AI these days, it's crucial to understand that the synergy engine isn't designed to replace us. Its purpose is to amplify us. It's a tool to help us think together more effectively, to see complex problems more clearly, and to find common ground across all our different communities.
But, none of this collaboration stuff can happen if we can't trust each other or trust the information we're seeing. And that brings up maybe one of the most critical questions of our time. In a world that's just drowning in misinformation, how do we even begin to build a shared sense of reality again?
The Phoenix Platform tackles this head-on with a pretty robust process, and the synergy engine powers it. So it's not just about sucking in data. First, that info is checked and verified by a whole network of trusted people. The system then tracks where it came from and every change made to it. That's called provenance tracing. The AI is there to help flag things that look fishy, signs of manipulation, and because the whole process is transparent, you end up with a knowledge base that people can actually, trust. Okay, so you've got this system built on nature, relationships, and some really smart tech. So what? What's the end game? What does all of this actually let us do? Well, it's all about fostering what they call a flourishing future. And that future rests on four main pillars. It means having the actual infrastructure to coordinate real action on huge challenges like climate change. It means helping everyone build skills like systems thinking and collaboration. It's also about providing the tools to build regenerative economies, things that support circular supply chains and ecological healing. And finally, it's about helping us talk to each other again, using technology to bridge our divides instead of making them wider. And I think it's so important to remember that at the end of the day, this whole massive project isn't just about fixing problems or avoiding disaster. The ultimate goal is way more inspiring than that. It's about creating a world where people can actually flourish, where we can live lives full of purpose, creativity, and connection with each other and with the planet.
And this quote, man, it just wraps up the whole vision perfectly. It's about taking our collective brain power, our ability to work together, and aligning it all with the living systems of our planet. It's about making innovation serve life itself. That's a fundamental change in priorities.
And so, that's the thought I want to leave you with. We've all seen how technology can be used to divide us, to confuse us, and to make us angry. But what if we flip the script? What could we really truly accomplish if our most powerful tools were designed from the very beginning to help us think and create and act together?